Okay, today we're going to make a battery, which I do a lot on this channel. But this one was sort of a user request. Somebody reached out to me on eBay, said they wanted a Hibernation battery for the Toshiba. It's the bigger one of the two. In this screenshot, this is not this person's battery, but I think we can create it. I don't think it's going to be a big issue at all. It is a replacement for the P71007004049. That's the one we're going to attempt to recreate today. You know, I just might print this out, just because I have a feeling it's just going to make my life easier. Maybe. That is if the printer... Oh. Let's see if it actually prints. I hate printers. It looks like it's going to go, so... Cool story. Of course, we need some nickel strip, which we got gobs of here. We need a spot welder, which I do own, as many of you already know. The batteries that they do use for some of these, well, that's no bueno. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, some of the batteries that were used in the earlier variants of this were 30 milliamps. Some are 40. I can't find 30 milliamp cells really anywhere, so we're going to try our luck with the 40 variety. So how do we do that? Well, we don't need to wait on a printer to do the easy part. At least I don't think we do. My goodness, that printer is not exactly happy at the moment, but that's life. So there we go. We have our 3 cells and some kind of counterweight. Probably not a bad idea to keep things lined up. We're going to use a highly technical thing called a compact LTE light battery. Even then, it's not quite perfect, but yeah. Looks like crap, but it gives us a guide. I don't think we can do anything bigger than the 4mm 0.01 thickness, so that's what we're going to go with. And first thing is first, we need 3. As you can see in the original design, it looks like they're kind of a slanty type design, so that's what we're going to work with. So first thing is first. And some idiot cut it at an angle, so that's always fun. That's a little bit better, I guess. Hopefully not too short, but we shall see. Get rid of that little extra excess. Say bye-bye to that shell, and say goodbye to that one. They like to fly a little bit, so a little bit long, but you know, we can always trim them off. Oh, no, they're not. This has worked just fine. So, let us spot weld. There was a hair there, so I had to blow that away. I don't think they'll spot weld very good. I don't think this is attaching all that well, to be honest. The intensity's pretty high on it, though. So I don't know. And my master plan might be not so masterish here. Yeah, it's just our spot welds are kind of weak, so I don't know what we got to do to correct that exactly. Some sandpaper around here. I don't know what happened to it. But I have a feeling that this is some very meh spot welding capabilities here, so I think I'm going to have to clean this up before I do much of anything. So I'm not going to continue until I do, so let's get that done real quick. Yeah, I don't know if you could tell, but if you look on the one that's at the bottom of the screen versus the one in the middle left, I cleaned the one on the top. This bottom one I did not yet. So I'll just get some of that crap off. This spot welder does have a lot of miles on it, so it is very possible that it is nearing its end of its useful life. So I am going to roll with it until I can't anymore. It's also possible the battery is depleted and it just needs to be charged. That would be fine either way. So let's give it the old second college try. Well, it smoked more. Let's turn it up. Should have some good contact here. We just don't have it. It's okay now. I have a feeling we just need to charge a battery, and that's okay if we have to. It's not the end of the world. There's one set. So we get to do the same again. Come on. Okay, we're not using our supplied wedge tools here, unfortunately. The good news is you do... Let me finish that thought. The good news is that you do not need a battery from the competition to make this battery. My guess is Compaq and Toshiba were very fierce competitors back in the 90s, or maybe even early 2000s. And I made this one a little too short. No, we're okay. I think the spot welds are still very meh, but that's all right. So I'm going to try to set that off to a spot that won't cause any problems. And I know this is a very overkill test, but that's what we do here. Sometimes we have a little bit of overkill on this channel. So let's make sure we read approximately 2.4. We do. Wherever I got these from, they're a lot more charged than the some of the other ones I get. 2.4. I don't remember which ones I tested, but 2.4. 2.54. Yeah. All right, that's cool. So now we get to begin the fun of assembling this pack. It ain't all that fun, I guess, but generally speaking, I believe it'll be something along the lines of this. So, I wish I had kept that Hibernation battery. Yeah, I'm not sure quite how I'm going to do this yet, and I think I messed this up, so... It may be that there's supposed to be... Yeah, okay, we did screw this up a little bit, and I don't know quite how to angle this. Was it some... Oh, yes I do. So I think what's supposed to happen here, I think we're supposed to do this, do that, and do that. I gotta double check my work here, but let me take this offline, and then we will get right back into it. And today, we're going to build another battery. We do that a lot on this channel. But this one was kind of a special request. I had a person on eBay. He asked me a question on a battery like this one. I don't have a part number handy for that one, but it's a 110 milliamp battery. It's a Hibernation battery for select Toshiba laptops, which I also don't have off the top of my head, but that's okay. And the person wanted me to recreate this one right here, this P71007004049 battery. It's a little bit leaner in the capacity than this one here, but it's the same concept. See, this is some of these are 30 milliamps, some of these are 40. So we're gonna go build the guy a 40, or gal. I'm not sure if didn't get that far in asking that question, but this battery will also at least provide me a guideline on how to go about that. So that's why I dug out that one. So we do something along the lines here. And albeit this is an unusual configuration for me, we'll get her done. I hope these cells aren't too thick, but like I said, we'll get it done. They look like they're kind of angled. It looks like they kind of fit perfectly in between, like so, and just kind of like a little cog puzzle piece type scenario. These batteries are the ones that sometimes give me the most fits. I don't know if you want to call it a form of dyslexic. I know it isn't that, but I don't have any explanation. The LTE light batteries do the same thing to me. They screw with me. They screw with my head. But then again, the more I dig into the LTE light, the less I like them. But they're still conversation pieces, so I forgive it. And they're also an important piece of history, so I forgive that as well. So, let's put her together. Got our spot welder handy. These are nickel metal hydride cells for anybody that dare asks. There we go. And I gotta stop moving those suckers around. That's not going to help me here in the long run. Not particularly impressed with the job this spot welder is doing tonight. Might be time to charge it. I did give it quite some homework, and I have a feeling that it's going to bite me in the rear, because I do have a defective unit coming back my way. That's a main battery, though. I still don't like defective batteries, though. That's no good. We're not having a good week on that. Yeah, that one went a little bit. I have no idea what's going on with this darn thing. All right, one more, and then we're a step closer. Unfortunately, this is the easy part. The harder part's going to come, but it's not really that much harder. And the person from eBay that said I'm going to learn how to solder these things, there's very little soldering. Spot welding is the secret here. You generally don't want to solder on these unless you have to. And even then, I'd still think twice. Very little and very volatile. So we're halfway there. So I think in theory, we flip it like this. Something like so here. There we go. So we just connect these two. I want to say that's correct. Yes, so we're just going to connect these two. So I did overthink this. That's a tendency I do happen to have. Connect this row here. Or nickel strip to the rescue. And, well, and I just realized that I have a compact LTE-like battery staring at me here. These aren't bad once you get into them. It's the Hibernation batteries that trip me up. Although they are like Fort Knox, so... But I think most batteries from the 90s I'm starting to learn are. But Conturos are even worse. Alright, and we are another step closer. And there's a couple schools of thought of how to go connect the final two, but I will get into that as soon as we get to afforded to that point. That one did what it was supposed to do. Okay, so we got most of it already well underway. So in theory, the way I have it right now, I should be able to read 7.2 volts. Oh, we got our polarity backwards, so let's unbackwards them, or get them right. And we sure do. So, now comes the fun part. Is that we just got to get a wire. And something to solder said wire on too. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this battery as an example. I probably could. We just got to be smart about it. This one here, it's a very small nickel strip, but it is also very conveniently tucked in this little groove. So I think I could do something along the lines with that. So I got a little bit of experimentation to do, but don't worry, we'll get there. So we have this awesome thin stuff here. Sometimes thinner is better. But metal is still king. Got a guy that works out of Boston's at work, and he was breaking them up. Like, I got these from South Korea, and they're made of metal. And to his credit, they're very good embossers. And he's the only one in the state that works on them, so I trust the guy. Customer service is awesome. And he's never steered us wrong, so I'm always a big proponent of, I don't care where it comes from, as long as it works. I mean, granted, locally made is great, but I will take working. I'm partial to working. Little tiny thing. I don't know quite how we're going to solder it, but we will get there, don't worry. don't even have big hands, just get slapped around on space. Alright, so I may even have to cut that down a little bit more. Like I said, I'm trying something out here. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to do what I want it to do just yet, but that's life. If you don't experiment, you're not trying hard enough. If you don't fail, you're not trying. It's okay to fail. It's what you do once you fail. So in other words, if you learn from your mistakes, you're golden. And unfortunately, I may have to redo the positive side. I made that one a little too short and I kind of rushed through it. But, like I said, it's what you learn from making mistakes. The negative side is almost perfect, so we got 1 out of 2 here. Well, we'll make this one a little bit longer. We'll just chop it to size here. This stuff is really cheap on Amazon, so I'm not worried about it. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Now I'll admit it's a little bit untraditional because we're going to be going out only to go back in. From what it appears, and in addition to this, I do have another problem that I easily overcome, but it's still a problem that I have to address. The wire leads are very long on the original, that is. Maybe they accommodated for certain ones. Maybe the one that the original person had was a little bit shorter, which actually I can look at right now. So let's go take a look at the old eBay messages and see what we got. So the person was nice enough to send me the originals, helped me a lot. Yeah, the wire is pretty long on this one, so we are going to have to strategize a little bit because I think my wires are not very long, so that's okay. That's an easy thing to get around. So this is the original, straight from the source of the person that wanted the extra battery. So, and it looks like thickness won't be a factor. So that's one small advantage. Man, these Toshibas really take these batteries behind the shed. So I kind of made a bend. We got to be a little bit smart with this one because you could literally short out a battery if you're not being responsible. See, I think we got it just about perfect. I know I can't get it in the camera, but there's a little bit of insulation between the positive and the negative, so we should have something to solder on. Olé. So, without further delay or obstruction, whatever you want to call it, it is time to get the soldering iron out. So, I gotta let that warm up, so we will be right back. Okay, so, while we're letting the soldering iron warm up, I noticed a problem, and I mentioned it earlier, I believe. This JST Micro, this is a 2-pin one. This is the correct connector, but the wires are awful short. But you know, I have a lot of these JST Micro 3 connectors. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mooch the wires from them. At least that's the theory. I gotta get a blade small enough to get in between that and just pry those puppies apart. So you don't have to watch me do that. So we're going to continue to let the soldering iron warm up. It doesn't look like that the Toshiba batteries in this case have any reverse polarity going on, so we should be able just to swap these two and with the longer wires and call it a day. Okay, I think we're good. So, like I said, it is going to be a little bit of a maze to get this in here, but we'll get it in there. So, I know this part is off camera, but you're not going to miss a whole hell of a lot, so. It's just going to be strategic placement is all we're going to be doing at this time. Which may not even exactly work for this battery, but, you know, we're going to see if we can squeeze her in where I want it anyway. The wire is certainly thin enough for it. Okay, so we got one side in, so I guess we'll try to solder it up and hope it stays in place. I probably could tape it in or something and it would do just fine. Yeah, I could tell this is going to be a very, very interesting endeavor already. I'll just bend this up. As long as we don't short out, we should be okay. So what I want to do, get that right there. Not quite. I know there's better ways to go about this. I'm sure there is. I can tell you right now, I know what won't be bad is the quality of this solder. This is a American-made one. I don't remember what the brand is. Starts with a K. I think it's Keston, I think is the brand name. Very good stuff. Stupid thing. Alright, we're going to have to do something a little bit different here because there is very little clearance on this and I don't want to mess this up for the guy or gal. Whoever's purchasing it, I don't want to mess it up for you. Okay, that wasn't too bad. You know, ordinarily you put flux on and that's supposed to help it stick more, I believe. But I did not do that because I didn't think I needed to do that here, but so one thing that's going for me here is that I believe Toshiba is a tad bit forgiving on space. I may be completely wrong. I don't have an original to reference this to, so I gotta do my best here. I think that's okay. It's not my favorite build, but I think it'll work. So now we get to do the same for the other side. And we need some kind of something to hold it down. We'll use cloth electrical tape. Awesome stuff, by the way. That does the job. Not ideal, but we're going for it does a job at this time. And, oh, almost got it perfect. Almost got it perfect. But like the Toshibas, I believe, are a little bit forgiving on space. That's what I'm hoping for. Worst case scenario, I asked the seller to send his original and help me in a science project. So there you have it. One more little step we gotta do is heat shrink it together. But yeah, that's not terrible at all. So before I do anything else, I did promise to take pictures, or that's what the buyer originally wanted, was just pictures. So, you know what? We'll give you both. So those will be sent their way soon. The next thing we got to worry about is heat shrink. Now, the one thing I do have, I have gobs upon gobs upon gobs of 30mm heat shrink. And I hope this will fit this, because that would make this job a little bit more pleasurable. If I gotta use something a little bit bigger, you know, it's not going to ruin me or anything. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to hate on anything here. But anything really generally other than 30mm, and if somebody has a local source on this, please tell me. Any heat shrink generally other than the 30mm, I had to go buy it straight from China. Not the end of my world. It's okay. It just takes longer to get here. So, with the magic of video editing, we're going to find that out right now to see if 30mm heat shrink will do the job here. Survey says... I'll have to cut this down. That's, maybe. We have a chance. I'd love to get rid of this stuff. Come on. I know it's off camera. But... drum roll. Pretend it's a drum roll. And we almost got it in. We are just... oh, wait a minute now. Hold on a minute. Don't like the way I exactly put this together, but I think the heat shrink will cover up any flaws I may have done. It's in. Now, I did say that there was a flaw just now, and that's something that we can cover up. But you notice that one of the nickel strips are sticking out just a little bit. I hope the heat shrink will take care of that. I can always take it out and move it around with the spot welder if I really wanted to. I don't think that's necessary. If I can cover up that lead completely, we should be in the clear. Now we just gotta cut off the excess. I think that should do. Might be still a little bit too long. They're only making things worse. But that's my first. Generally, you would flatten it and take it out. But we'll see how this goes. Now comes the heat shrink. And just like any heat shrink, you work on the outside first and then go in. May have made it a little too long. And scraggly. That's odd. Maybe my wire's sticking out on that one. I don't know why that one's got a point on it, but it got a point on it for some reason. And yeah, I don't know why that's pointy like that. I hope it didn't expose anything, but yeah, it's okay. It's none of my greatest work, but I'm just gonna take this back apart. We'll try this again. There is a couple questionable pointy spots that I want to address, and because that's almost guaranteed to cause a problem down the road. I don't know why it's pointy. Oh, it folded over. That's why it's pointy. Okay. Well, either way. The 30mm stuff is cheap, so and readily available, so I'm not worried about that. The customer is number one. And that's one thing I try to do is focus on the customer satisfaction. I want to do everything, make sure we get things right as much as possible, and especially with the neutral negative feedback, I want to prevent that. Not working with your seller, especially in this community, is a dick move. So I'm just going to fold this little corner over, and I think we should be back in business. See, we folded over. I don't know how it possibly did, but whatever. Yeah, maybe. One way or another, we're going to get this. Maybe the razor blade will do it. Maybe we flattened it so much it won't matter. Yeah, it looks like I just flattened it really good. It's pretty flat now. It's good. So, take two. I don't know how they folded over it. Takes quite a bit of effort to do. Come on, in you go. Yeah, it's just getting stuck all over the place, but this is boding well again, so I am satisfied if this goes in and doesn't create a problem or tear anything or do anything stupid. No problem, it's in. And this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my thumb there. I'm going to see if I can pull this out. I'm going to cut it approximately right there. It might be a little bit long, but we stretched it out a little bit. But it looks about right, so let's give her the old college try and see where it goes. A little hot. Not perfect. May have made this one a little too short, but I think it'll be fine. Yeah. As long as none of the leads are exposed, we're good. So, yeah, that's our first of this Hibernation battery anyway, so I'll send this out as soon as the person buys this, of course, and we'll see how it goes. So that's it for now. These weren't too bad once I got my head around it, so we'll get better with practice, of course, and maybe I'll just do one more round just to flatten this thing a little bit. Yeah, I'm just going to have the seller try it, and we'll see where it goes. But, as always, thank you for watching. If you have anything constructive to throw in the comments section, you may feel free to do so.